So back in April, I got this text message. I don't know why he texted me out of the clear blue sky. This is Philip, which is information. Philip Hernandez. You can see. That's who it is. Go back here. All right. And it says, "Ha, children, good and God will prevail." And I said, I agree. He says, "Numbers and money, that's your department. I never cared, LOL." Huh. Okay. And I replied, "Money? Nah. When I first started, everything was paid for out of my own pocket. I'll do that again now. I'm not going to stop. You're the one just got the big 6-figure settlement from probation lawsuit. Have you told subs how much you got or how much you earn monthly on YouTube ad money?" His reply was, "LOL, take your meds. I earn it all, not deceiving anyone. So I'm Gucci bra. Wasn't monetized for a year, LOL. So I don't care about anything but moving the cause forward. It's why I tried so hard to stay out of the drama. I let y'all attack me over and over, and I turned the other cheek. Now I'm hitting back." And here's his reply. "Yes, you are a victim. He. God will get you. I sleep good at night, sir. Keep laughing. I'm good with God." These are my replies. "Let's see how this all falls in the end. We're just at the start right now. God loves me, has protected me, and continues to do so." And in his reply, "I'm not worried. I record and post and will keep doing what I've always done." And then I replied, "You guys wanted transparency. I'm going to give it to you. I don't wish ill," it came out wrong, but "I don't wish ill on you or anyone else, but penance is owed. Yes, you are the moral compass." My reply, "Perhaps, perhaps not. But it's not about that. It's supposed to be about holding the government accountable, not witch hunts amongst ourselves. Our attacks are attacking other activists." I went on to say, "These are the exact same methods the government used in the 1960s against civil rights activists. They've just been updated for the digital age." I said, "Whose side are you on? Whose side is Felipe on? This whole mess could have been avoided. I didn't want this fight. I tried to avoid it. Now it's forced upon me. When Ida said you raped her and beat her, did I spread that all over? Or did I alert you about what was being said?" And that's when he goes silent. Notice he doesn't address that comment. He went silent then. Now, many of you probably haven't heard these allegations before. That's because the California crew covered it up when she made these allegations. If you made any reference to it on their channels or asked any questions about it, you were deleted, your comments were deleted and blocked. And Ida has since been pretty much pushed out of the community out there. Now, Felipe Hemming and Krista Hemming say that you should always believe the victims. Yet, they're covering this up. Why is that? That's coming in the next video. Alright, the camera's rolling. So, if you could just give me a little background on what you do or what you did and who you are. You don't necessarily have to give me your last name, but just a first name so that people have a person, they know it's a real person.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My name is Tony. I just moved to Texas from San Diego, California. And while I lived there for the last 4 years, up until August of last year, I worked with Allied Universal Security Services. And the last year that I was there, I was employed at the General Atomics facility as the third shift supervisor. So I come in early. Usually my shift was from 9:30 to 5:30 p.m. to a.m., but a lot of times I was over until, 4 hours over or 4 hours early. So I got to see both sides of all three shifts.
Okay. And so while you were out there, did you ever encounter any of the First Amendment auditor types?
Oh, several times. A couple different ones. The main ones that we dealt with were the High Desert Community Watch and, I can't remember the other guy's his YouTube channel, but I was the actual kind of like the resident expert on the First Amendment auditors, because what you guys do is a necessity, but some of the guys take it too far and take it over. Let's just say that.
Well, so did you have problems? You didn't have an issue with people being on the sidewalk and exercising their First Amendment rights. Did you have problems with them taking things too far? Invading your space, things like that.
Usually what happened was, what I've seen professionally and both personally is I see two types of auditors. There are the ones who come out, they're there to do a job, which is to test the responses from law enforcement, from government employees, from government contractors, and see what their response is to people who are doing constitutionally protected acts. The post that I worked at General Atomics is a government contractor that deals with classified information. It's all inside of buildings, it's secured, and it's a fenced-in, gated area. There's guards at every gate. You can't get in without going through the security process, okay? The ones that are good, and I'm a little bit biased because you're actually who I learned most of my stuff through watching your videos, David, was, there's guys like you, Patrick Roth, News Now Dallas, the Batusi. You guys are the ones that you go there, you stay on the sidewalk, you don't engage any of the officers unless they engage you. You're courteous to them. You give them every opportunity to do the right thing. Then you've got guys like High Desert Community. Johnny 5-0 is another one that I've seen do stuff like this. You go on the property. What I witnessed, both physically and on video, because I was a supervisor, I had all the video feeds, was they would go, step onto the property, engage the security officers, try to get a rise out of them. And we started noticing a trend that as soon as the guards started responding, saying, hey, you're on private property, you can't be filming, et cetera, that's when the video cameras would start rolling. And as soon as the video cameras would start rolling, oh, you can't accost me, I'm doing a First Amendment protected activity. You never see on these videos, David, the stuff that leads up with these California guys to the reactions that they're getting. Now, I cannot say 100%, David, that I've seen every single one of your videos, but I'd say it's a good 95 to 98%. And one thing that I've noticed with you in particular, and a couple times with Mr. Roth, is that there are times when you edit it, of course, for length, and there's times when there's just no activity going on. Of course you're going to edit that out. Nobody wants to sit there and see you walk around. But I've seen you when there has been altercations, there has been things going on. You've turned around after you put the initial video up and you release the unedited raw footage, okay? And you see everything that led up to that. What I noticed with the California guys, there's none of that. There's no raw, unedited footage. All you're seeing is the reactions of the guards, and it looks like my guards, and in this case it was my guards, are making fools of themselves and going against a constitutionally protected right. I know 95 to 97% of all the guards that I worked with there. Know them on first name basis. I was a supervisor, so there wasn't a lot of fraternizing, but a lot of them are vets. They signed their name on the line on that blank check to give everybody, yourself included, even though I know you're a vet, the right to do these constitutionally protected activities. I know these guys don't go out of their way to stop somebody from doing what is legal for them to do. Now, on our side of it, I know you know, David, we have a job to do.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
And we're there to protect the company and protect the company's assets. But our job, as well as our policy, doesn't trump anybody's rights. As long as you're on the sidewalk, my guards were told, never engage them. Don't even look at them. The favorite line of all First Amendment auditors is, we're getting a cab back. The only time you got cab back from my guys is when there wasn't confrontation. I told all of them, videotape. We did not have body cameras. When I left, we did not have body cameras. So if a guy had his personal cell phone and there was an interaction, by all means, tape it. Not just for his safety and for your safety, but the camera don't lie. It's unbiased. It's going to tell the truth.
Exactly.
Okay? And my guys knew that. So what you see of the California ones, now, one of the supervisors, I watched another video again today. I don't remember who was the auditor, but one of the supervisors came out and talked to him. He was one of the bigger bosses of Allied supervisors, okay? He came out and said, look, you guys are making people uncomfortable. We're not telling you you can't do it. We're asking you. You guys are making people uncomfortable. This is a private facility and you're standing out here. As long as you're not on the property, we can't stop you. And we have called the police to let them know that you're here. I know personally from experience dealing with Sheriff's Department out in Poway area, California, that these guys are professional. They know their job. They know the law. They won't hem anybody up for any reason that they don't deserve. Okay, now, of course, David, you and I both know that no matter where you go, there's always going to be bad apples. It's in every job anywhere.
Sure.
But for the most part, the dealings that I had with the San Diego Sheriff's Department, the Poway subdivision and stuff, they were all professional. They were excellent. They were there within 2 minutes of any call. They never took anybody to jail unless they were seriously trespassing or a threat. There were some incidents where I see people get hemmed up, and I had to write the reports. But they never, trod on anybody's rights. I guess that's the word I want to use.
Well, the last option a police officer should use is arrest. If you can just resolve the situation and send everybody on their way, hey, everybody goes away happy, and that officer probably just made a new friend, or at least somebody that's not anti-police. Okay, but when they misuse their authority and just go straight to arrest because they can, that creates issues. That creates the police haters.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And not just police haters, anybody in a uniform.
Sure.
It doesn't, I've learned that it doesn't just focus on law enforcement only. As a security officer in the state of California, and I'm going to be one here in Texas more than likely, our uniforms are very similar to a lot of police departments around. And they see a uniform, and they automatically associate us with law enforcement, number one. And then number two, they give the disrespect of, you're a rent-a-cop. You're not even real law enforcement. You're just a private citizen in a costume. Okay, you're right. I am a private citizen. I am doing a job for a living. I'll give you that much. But I'm an armed officer, and I know I'm pretty sure you know, David, because I know you've been to California many times. It is a very, 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 very liberal state, and it's dang near impossible for people to get firearm permits, et cetera, et cetera. I was a licensed exposed carry officer. I carried every time I was on duty, to and from duty. Okay? So I'm trained to get that stuff. Don't you deserve a little bit of respect, for going through that training?
I give, and it doesn't, it's not just security guards or security officers or police officers. I'm respectful to everybody, so long as they don't put their hands on me, grab my camera, stupid stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, up to that point, I give everybody the respect that I would ask for myself or for a family member or a friend. And I think that that's reasonable. Now, I find that, and I generally don't mess with or intentionally go after private security because a lot of them are unaware of our First Amendment rights. Usually when I have an issue with a private security officer, they come off their property and give me problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But for the most part, when it comes to First Amendment auditors, security guards are viewed, and this is just the consensus from the community, people I've spoken to in the community, that security guards, because they're uneducated about what, our rights are and all of that, they're like low-hanging fruit on the tree. They're easy prey. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and so you can get some good videos by picking on private security guards. And so I don't do that. I have had run-ins with private security guards, don't get me wrong, but it's not because I went to them, they came to me.
Absolutely, and I've seen them, and I've watched videos of pretty much all of the First Amendment auditors, and I'll be the first one, having almost been Leo and doing private security for a living. I'm sitting there watching these videos, and the first comment, probably 99% of the time, out of my mouth is, "No, what are you doing? Stop! You're gonna make them." Oh, now you're a YouTube star. And it's like, dude, no, you're making our whole company. And let me make clear, when I'm employed by Allied Universal, and I'm using them as the example, I am loyal to the company. As a person should be. I'm there doing company business, and I'm representing the company, et cetera, et cetera. So as I'm watching this, and my guys, and they're not necessarily under me, but they're part of my crew, I'm looking at this and I'm going, why are you making all of us look bad? Why are you making me look bad? You wonder why people have the attitudes and the disdain for security. Your job is to protect and observe and report. Okay, that is your job. And it's a certain property that you're hired to protect. Nowhere in your orders, post orders, verbal orders, or anything, are you ever told to go off property unless there is imminent danger to somebody's life. Now, example of that, David, I'm here guarding a hotel. And out on the street, I see a guy coming up behind you, and he's got a gun, and you don't see him coming. I'm going to shut off the property. I'm going to draw down. I'm going to, identify myself and give them an opportunity. Now, if they turn towards me and point that weapon, I got to do what I got to do. Okay? However, I'm not going out if you're just standing out there, David, videotaping cars that are going by, or videotaping because there's a police conference in this hotel and you're videotaping the cops while they're at this conference or whatever. I'm not going off the property to say something to you. I have no business to do that. And every single one of my guys has been trained or had been trained, and now they've had some new hires. I still am in contact with a lot of the guys down there. But all the guys while I was there were trained. Do not leave the property. Do not engage them. If you're not being filmed and you happen to be on the edge of a property and they happen to be right there and they say, "Hey man, how's it going?" Obviously you can engage, "Hey, it's going pretty good. How are you today?" If you're curious about what they do, ask them. The guys that I've spoken to, with the exception of California guys, you yourself, are pretty approachable as long as you're approached in the right way. But that's anybody. You know, I mean, being realistic, I had an experience since I've moved to Texas, and it was a First Amendment type experience. I looked up your Facebook page and found a number and called you. And once you realized what I was talking about and everything, you were really approachable and actually a nice guy. And I've seen the bad side of you on the videos for idiots, FBI down in
El Paso.
San Antonio or El Paso. Yes, I watched that video. That's one of my favorites of what not to do. I know a lot of law enforcement friends in California, along with some of the other ones, and you're considered one of the polite ones. You're considered one of the professional ones. My guys that I know, my Leos, and I won't mention names, but the Leos that I know have often said, I wish this guy would come and do an audit with us. Because these guys, this guy is professional, and if we look bad, it's our fault. I mean, there's no reason anybody should look bad when, as long as they're obeying the law.
I agree.
So, but anyways, yeah, I wanted to give you that 2 cents worth. These guys in California take it way too far. They're disrespectful from the word go. They're sneaky. They provoke interaction and then start filming, and they don't show you that they've provoked it. With one exception, the video that I was watching today, talking to the whatever one, it's publicly accessible, so I can say his name. His name's Bill Davis, was the supervisor that I'm referring to, was on GA property. And so was the auditor. And Bill didn't even give him grief about being on the property. He had stepped off the sidewalk and into GA property, into their little cul-de-sac towards where the gate was. At any time, one of the officers could have came over and said, you know what, you're on our property now. I'm going to seize your equipment. There's signs posted everywhere that says, once you're on GA property, all your personal electronics, everything is, what is the exact wording? You probably know it better than I, David, because you do it for a living. We're able to seize it, review it, take anything that electronics or anything, to make sure that there's nothing secret, none of the trade secrets or anything are being stolen or anything like that. But only, and it clearly states, only once you step onto GA property. And I'm looking at it. I know the area where this interaction took place. I know the supervisor. The auditor was clearly on GA property, but Bill never gave him a hard time. And I think the name of the video is something like Security and General Atomics overstepping their authority or whatever. And I'm like, really? You're on GA property. You're lucky I wasn't there dealing with you, because the way that auditor was acting, one of the armed guards, had every right to go up to him and take him, place him into custody temporarily, say, I want to review all your footage, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you can't do that, sir. It's my first. You're on GA property, sir.
Yeah, once you enter, and this is something that hasn't been pushed in a lot of instances yet, but once you enter private property, your rights and your privileges and the law all turn against you to some degree. And this is one of the reasons that, for the most part, I stay on public property, places that are traditional public forums. I do that because there I have the power. And that's how you want to keep it. If you're an auditor, that's how you want to keep it, so that if you do get hemmed up for some bogus charge, you have good standing in court. And if you don't have that, if you're actually on their property and they can show video of it, you're in trouble, plain and simple. But
and like we talked about at the beginning of this, David, the video camera does not lie.
Correct.
It doesn't lie. It's unbiased, and it's not going to lie.
All right, Tony, I think that covered everything I wanted to cover. I appreciate you coming on. You got any parting commentary for me before I kill the camera?
Actually, yes, I do. I want to tell all the people out there that watch these videos, security, Leo, any kind of government employees, I understand that there is a little bit of shyness when cameras come around and everything, but a person's right is their rights. It's a constitutionally protected act. Doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. If David, using you as the example, is standing on a public sidewalk filming a government building, guess what? The Supreme Court has made it legal for him to do that. And there's nothing anybody can say or do. They may try to trump up charges. You may try to do whatever. If you're doing that, you're breaking the oath that you took to your office. I know too many good Leos who have watched these videos in my presence with me, and they say the same thing I do. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Dave, are you still there, David?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, it sounded like I lost you for a moment. Sorry about that. But everybody, you need to know that the soldiers, the people who join voluntarily into the military and stuff, we fight for these constitutionally protected rights. And it applies to every citizen of the U.S., whether you agree with their beliefs, their politics, their gender, their sex, whatever. It applies to everyone who is a legal citizen equally. Keep that in mind the next time you're going to go approach one of these guys, because you too may end up being a YouTube star.
All right, thanks, Tony. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, kill the camera, and I'll just tell the subscribers that I hope you found this informative and educational.